At this time, I entertain a motion to reconvene in open session.
So moved. Second.
It's been properly moved and second to reconvene in open session. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same right. Any abstentions? We are now back in open session. This time we'll ask you all to rise to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, we'll turn it over to Superintendent McLaughlin.
Good evening, everyone. This is my favorite board meeting of the year where we get to honor our retirees. We have some refreshments here for you and your family. So after all the retirees are spoken about and recognized, we're going to take a short break and enjoy the food and talk to each other and celebrate. Okay. So I'm going to first call up Mrs. Lisa Romano from LMS. And Mr. Sal Pachuga.
Good evening, everybody. Tonight, LMS celebrates 22 years of faithful, compassionate, and impeccable service from our school nurse, Ms. Denise Salvatore. In every school, the role of the nurse is both unique and vital. Teachers and counselors collaborate in teams, but the school nurse is often the only medical professional in the building, an island unto herself, and at the same time, the heartbeat of the entire operation. Every principal relies heavily on the nurse's judgment to ensure the health and safety of students and staff. We don't have the clinical expertise. Denise has been our trusted expert, our guide, and our anchor. Over the course of 22 years, wait for this, Denise, she has cared for more than 17,000 students, if you add it up, and nearly 500 staff members with extraordinary attentiveness, skill, and heart. During cold and flu season, Denise sees as many as 80 to 90 students per day. Outside of peak times, Denise regularly cares for 60 to 70 students daily. And this care is never robotic or clinical. At one and the same time, I have seen Denise hold back a student's hair as they got sick, gently coax a nervous child back to class, and instruct a proud recess warrior on how to properly ice a scrape earned in a fierce game of Foursquare. I've heard Denise quietly console colleagues during times of personal loss. And I've also witnessed her command a situation with firm authority, once dismissing a colleague's protest and insisting, "Get into that ambulance now." Hours later, that same colleague called from the hospital to thank her for what turned out to be a very dangerous situation. Denise is, without question, the matriarch of our school family, and I use that word with the deepest respect and admiration. This is not a title earned simply by years of service. No, Denise is our matriarch because of the loving care that she gives to every single one of our students and every staff member every day. She takes care of us with the greatest of care and concern. One of the sweetest things I've heard said about Denise was by a new staff member this year who remarked, "Even though I haven't been here for long, I feel like I've been working alongside Denise for years," and that's a testament to Denise's warm and welcoming nature. Very few people in the world perform their job even for just one single day, let alone every day, with the love and passion Denise has given to all of us for 22 years. Denise herself said something to me recently that speaks volumes. We were talking about a student who had required immediate medical attention. Soon thereafter, she said, "Lisa, it is all so sensitive. In less than a second, everything can change. What was a normal moment can become a life or death situation. That's why I have to be on it. That's why I have to be sensitive to every detail, every complaint, every concern. This is why Denise is our matriarch." Now, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that Denise is not all business. She is a playful, joyful side that can light up any room and elevate any gathering. For sure, this is not the forum to share specific stories about that side of her. But trust me when I say, never underestimate Denise's ability to save a life or to bring life to a party. As she steps into this next chapter, Denise shared with me that while she's excited for what lies ahead, she also feels like she's leaving home, leaving family. But here's what I know, Denise. You never leave a family, especially when you are its matriarch. Denise, you're a legend, a pillar of our community, irreplaceable in every way. We love you dearly. We will miss you more than words can express, but we will always, always be your work family. And like every family, we are with you, near or far, always and forever. Congratulations.
Just to let you know, that was not board approved.
Thank you so much.
Susan Lacey.
Good evening, everyone, community leaders, family, friends, and colleagues of the musically magnificent Dr. Laura Bell. I am proud and excited to celebrate her and the amazing career she has had in Montgomery. Her journey in music began at the age of 6 when she had her first piano lesson. Her love of music continued and further developed over the years as she earned her bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees, all in piano performance from the New England Conservatory of Music, the University of Southern California, and Rutgers University, respectively. Laura's career as a music educator began during her time as an adjunct music professor at Raritan Valley Community College. In 2004, she brought her passion and expertise to Orchard Hill, where she served as the general music teacher for 6 magical years. And since 2010, she has been the heart and soul of music at Village School. As our general music teacher and 4th grade choral director, she has taught more than 7,000 students, not just how to sing or read music, but how to express joy, connect with others, communicate in other languages, and believe in themselves. She created high-level, engaging music experiences for every child who walked into her classroom. The impact she has had on our VES community can be heard in every note sung, every song played, and every smile sparked by music. She doesn't just teach music. She also serves as the orchestra rehearsal assistant, a cooperating teacher and mentor to music teachers in training. She has been the Related Arts team leader and brought vision, dedication, and heart to every conversation and decision. She has enriched our curriculum as a writer and collaborator, and she is the current force behind the VES News. From coordinating the festive joy of the holiday sing-along and the uplifting spirit of the end-of-year sing-along, to composing Blazer the Bluebird, he is proud and strong, or Blazer the remix, go Blazer, and the ever-inspiring Blazer believes in you chant that we say at the end of the day. And she conducts 50 Nifty United States, which is like a hallmark, awesome piece. Go on Instagram, listen to the kids sing that song. You can name all the states super, super fast. These aren't just songs. They're traditions and memories and parts of who we are, woven into the fabric of our school. Beyond the classroom, Laura has shared her immense talents as a pianist, served as an accompanist for the New Jersey Elementary All-State Honor Choir, where at least 5 of our students participated this year, and she has students participate every year. She worked as the musical director for Music from the Heart. She is also the director of music and an organist at her church, a true reflection of how deeply music and service are woven into who she is. Laura founded and ran Dr. Bell School of Music, teaching piano for 25 years. She has performed with orchestras and choirs and performed solo concerts in Boston, LA, France, New York, and New Jersey. And she has made 2 solo piano music CDs. Quite the talent she is. In addition to all of that, she has been an incredible colleague and mentor, lifting others up, sharing her gifts generously, and bringing joy wherever she goes. While we will miss her tremendously, we know Kate May is gaining a very special resident. And though she may be moving on, the music she created here, the traditions, the spirit, the belief she inspired in every student will echo through Village School for many years to come. On behalf of the entire Village School family, thank you, Laura, for your music, your mentorship, your leadership, and your love for this community. You've left a legacy that will continue to sing long after the final bell. We wish you all the best in your well-deserved retirement. We can't wait to celebrate you with our staff on Monday.
So I started my time here in this very room, doing concerts here. I had 6 magical years here. And I remember Tom Barkley was my first principal. And he's the one that sponsored me because I had to do an alternate route. He took a chance on me through Claire Solonek. The band teacher at LMS retired. She goes to my church, and we were doing a children's choir together, and she called, and we found out Mr. White, my husband, Bob, the bus driver, was driving a bus, and found out Mr. Weitzel was retiring, and Claire called up Barb Sargent and said, get her resume to the top, so got my foot in the door, and then he saw something in me, I guess, because I had taught preschool and college, but not really in between, public school. And at one point he said, you know your content, you got to work on the other stuff, which was the classroom management and procedure and all that stuff. So I really worked hard on that and found that I say this to this day, I never have a bad day. I can never have a bad day at school. It's great to love what you do. And I want to get back to playing piano more, so that's why I'm moving on. Thank you all.
Mr. Dan Heiss, Principal, Orchard Hill Elementary School.
Hi everybody. Susan, I now have to come up with a pun for Castor or Evans. Is that what you're putting me up against here, going last? Amazing speeches, everybody. I am here to honor 2 longtime Orchard Hill staff members. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, board, Mary. I'm honored to speak tonight about 2 longtime Orchard Hill staff members who have given their all to the Cubs of Orchard Hill. First, we are saying goodbye to Rich Castor, a longtime custodian here at Orchard. Rich started here at Orchard way back in 1999, serving the district's maintenance and facilities department for over 26 years, 23 of which were here at Orchard Hill. While I've only known Rich for the last 7 years of his tenure, I can tell you that it didn't take me long to find out about his #1 strength, his work ethic, something I'm guessing he learned about while serving our country for 3 years in the Army. Thank you for your service, Rich. So Rich never stopped working. While he might not have been the most excited to hear his name come over the walkie, Rich, you there? He always responded to get the job done. Even though a building and staff of this size can keep a custodian busy, Rich has always said what he enjoyed most was being around the students. Events like Fun Day and our 2nd grade clap-off seemed to resonate with him, and I think I know why. Those are culminating activities that when you work as hard as Rich worked for the students of this school, it probably gave him great joy and pride to take in some of the end-of-year fun. As we get ready for those same events in 2025, Rich, we wish you all the best in your retirement. Lots of rest, good times with friends and family, and absolutely no more calls over the walkie-talkie. Thank you, Rich, and congratulations on your retirement.
Should give me one more call.
That's right.
Like they do police officers. One more call.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay, second, we would like to congratulate Donna Evans on an outstanding career in the OHES Art Department. Donna has taught art at Orchard Hill for the last 20 years, serving in a part-time role until finally going full-time with us just a few years back. Like many of us, teaching was a second career for Donna, as prior to starting as an art teacher, she was a human resources specialist in the Postal Service. Donna has thrived in the collaborative and supportive environment that makes Montgomery so special. She enjoyed bouncing instructional ideas off of her teaching colleagues, visiting with other members of the related art staff, and maybe every so often, venting about a student who was, in their own way, communicating that art wasn't their favorite subject. That used to be me too, Donna, way back when. The only C I ever got in middle school was in art class. I still remember. Donna needs to be celebrated for her patient and nurturing approach to instruction. 20 years of curious art-related questions from our Cubs can take its toll, but Donna always makes sure to give each question the attention it deserves. Moving forward, Donna is thinking about continuing to give back to the community near where she lives in Monroe, possibly working with the public library system to provide arts and crafts opportunities for young children in town. Donna, thank you for consistently making sure our Cubs knew that art was what you, the artist, felt good and proud of, and it didn't need to be anything more than that. Congratulations on your retirement, and all the best to you in the future. Congrats.
At this time, I entertain a motion to reconvene in executive session.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to reconvene in executive session. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor state aye. Aye. All those opposed say right. Abstentions? We are now back in executive session. Good one? Thank you all for your patience. At this time, I entertain a motion to reconvene in open session.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to reconvene in open session. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say right. Abstentions? We are now back in open session. First up, superintendent report presentation. Superintendent McLaughlin.
Good evening again. It's an honor to introduce the Montgomery High School Science Olympiad team. This year's New Jersey State champions and one of the top 10 teams in the entire nation. After a season of tireless preparation and collaboration, these remarkable students placed first in New Jersey and earned a 10th place finish at the National Science Olympiad Tournament. Along the way, they achieved top 6 national rankings in 10 challenging events, including Write It, Do It, Tower, Geomapping, Dynamic Planet, Code Busters, Material Science, ChemLab, Astronomy, Disease Detectives, and Fossils. Their accomplishments reflect not only deep scientific curiosity and academic excellence, but also a true spirit of teamwork. We are immensely proud of our students and their dedicated coaches, and we're thrilled to have them here tonight to share more about their extraordinary season. Team?
All right, don't just sit there. Let's come up and we can give a little better view of you. So, make it feel like we have that. Get some good photos too. So, good evening. Thank you, Superintendent McLaughlin and Board of Education for inviting us to come and present and share a little bit of our exciting season. It is final exam season also, so we don't have our whole squad here, although we do have quite a few. So I'm grateful for all of them taking their time. As was mentioned, we had a great season. We competed starting in November. So this group that you see before you, many of them who are coming back next year are probably already planning for the year to come. So this is basically a 365-day-a-year commitment that they put into it, and so many countless hours. They are very dedicated. They're super talented, but they also work really, really hard. So that combination of talent and hard work is hard to beat, and these kids have that. So a couple of the highlights, we did go up to Cornell. When I say we have a little larger team than this year, we were fortunate to get 3 teams. So a team would consist of roughly 15 individuals. You can never have more than 7 seniors on a team, so it's a pretty wide distribution. Also at Cornell, they allow a couple alternate events. So we had 17 people on each of the teams. So we took a bus of 51 really new to each other in many ways, students up to Cornell. Spent the night, and it's a great time for us to kind of get to figure out who we are as a team and get to do some bonding. We basically occupied about 4 or 5 hibachi grills that night and had a lot of fun doing that. So they work really hard and get ready for that season. We had one virtual event that we did in December, and then a couple internal. They run their own competitions just to see who's going to make what we would consider our A, B, and C teams as we go to these competitions. Although when we go to them, often they don't do them as JV varsity kind of thing. We just evenly distribute as we go through that. Those 3 teams at Cornell all finished, I believe, in the top 7, if I remember right. So we had 3 squads and a tournament finishing in the top 7. After the first of the year, we get into our huge competition season. We went to regionals down at Camden, and then really started the intensity where we went to MIT in January. The very next week, I think it was, that we were at Princeton University, and almost it feels like the week after that, but I think there was a break 1 week. We were at UPenn and had just tremendous success all the way through, really building up to what we wanted to do, and that was win the state title, and we were able to defend that. You have a few of these individuals now that are seniors, and if you could just kind of step forward so I make sure I catch all of the seniors. So we have some of our captains here, and then other seniors who have been on the team for the better part of their high school careers. When they were 9th graders, they were smaller, and they were learning things, learning how to build. And I had great moments of just teaching them to use a hammer, and that was kind of fun. But as they have matured through this, they won the state title in 2022, 2024, and 2025. So 3 out of the last 4 years. To say that we will miss our seniors is an understatement. It's always true. They are the most experienced and the most talented. They know what's going on, but they leave a legacy. So they have mentored the others. They have made friends with them. They have put up with them sometimes on long bus rides. But we're ready to go for the next year when they walk out the door. We will definitely miss them. They will get emails from me to help out with regional competitions and other event writings as we draw on our alumni and stay into that. It's one of the biggest senses of pride, I think, for the coaches. Mr. English and I are the coaches this year, is to go to our tournaments at some of these universities, and our students come and they're like, yeah, I'm running this event, or I'm running that event. And it's quite amazing to see them and get to sit down and chat with them over dinner or just casually to find out how they're doing. So this year we had 3 of our students who are in PhD programs at MIT just stop by on a Friday night to our hotel room to see how the team was doing. They graduated many years ago and they still love this. So I hope for you all, Andrew, graduated senior, Ren, also graduated senior, David and Anish. David and Anish are both senior captains. All 4 of them graduating seniors. I hope to see you and that you will come back, and I hope this was an important part of your life that you go through there. Ending kind of on some highlights, we did get to travel to Lincoln, Nebraska. If you ever go there, I might suggest you fly, but we took a bus because our team is big, and getting to Lincoln, Nebraska with 39 students and coaches is a little bit expensive. It's not the easiest airport to get to, and we wanted to take all of our team that could go, and so many of these students were there. That is a 2-day bus ride. We slept over in Chicago, but it was literally 24 hours on the bus there and back. In time, again, when they're giving up their time late in the year, right after AP exams and kind of the exhaustion of what that is. Mr. English is the same, is going, and we left on a Wednesday and we got back the late Monday night of Memorial Weekend. So they basically gave up their whole weekend to do this. We had a blast out there. Good time to be together as a team. I found some things out about them, particularly on the way home. We'll save that, but our competition was extraordinary. We did wonderfully. We had many places, and it's interesting as we've come with this team, and you're now in our 3rd state championship with this group. And Superintendent McLaughlin said that they finished 10th place this year. I will tell you just kind of candidly, they were a little bit disappointed in 10th place, and I think they would tell you that. We had high aspirations, and then you take a step back and you say, wait a second, we're in a position right now with this team and where these students have created this program where 10th place in the nation is disappointing. So I think we're in a good place. And some days, we have great things happen, and then like everything else, when there's 23 events, we had some things not go our way. That happens all the time. But we take that learning from it and that experience and the memories that we made. Every year we come back and we try to do something fun afterwards. So outside of Chicago, we sort of overtook a small mom and pop go-kart land. We went there on the Sunday of Memorial Weekend, and I think there were 40 of us, and I think there were like 6 other people there, maybe. And so we made this guy's weekend. He said, well, before you came, all my money was going to pay the staff, so this is actually good. So they had a blast. But they had this package, and I'll just kind of date myself with the age part of this, and that I was looking at, they had a go-kart package and a mini golf, and I'm thinking, oh, go-kart, mini golf, they like to do that, bumper boats, that's fun, And then they had this waterworks thing, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound, it's kind of cloudy, it's a little bit chilly, I probably won't want to do that. So I called them and told them what we wanted, and then David comes up to me and says, okay, this is what we want this package, and we want the waterworks. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, it's kind of cold, I didn't think, we aren't going to have swimming suits, and no, we want the waterworks. And this was like a balloon launcher, and they sat and just shot balloons at each other for a while, and it was a lot of fun. I did not get in there, I caught a couple strays, but otherwise it was a lot of fun just to see them. I also learned that they're really, really, really bad at mini golf. Epically bad at mini golf. So we're really good at a lot of things, mini golf, not one of them. So we have some work to do if we're going to go back and kind of do that publicly again. We're going to work on the mini golf a little bit. But few thank yous as we get going, and then we have a few things to show you, so you can chat the students up in a little break. First off, just thanking the district and supportive administrators that we have. They say yes more than they say no, probably say yes more than they should, but I love that. We have so many opportunities to take these students to places and give them experiences, and they truly make the best of them. So when you are investing those things in this kind of group, it's a lot of fun to go to it. We give up a lot of our time, but it's a lot of fun. You just find things you like to do and you do lots of them. I get to do that, and I wish that for all of you as well. Thank you, a big thanks to co-coach David English. David is tireless in terms of being there, and it was just the two of us this year with sometimes 50 plus kids, and it's a lot, but we're grateful we get to work with great kids. Our biggest accomplishment, one thing we didn't have to ask you for, was a lot of money. That's because these kids organized a junior Cougar championship this year. We had roughly 200 students from, not this building mostly, but from VES and lower middle school who attended this. I think they had a great time. There was just a lot of energy. We ran 4 Saturdays where we did workshops for these students to get ready for a competition, and we had a kind of a elementary, lower middle school kind of competition. Great fun that day. We learned a lot about organizing and getting that through, but it also was the community coming out and supporting us, and essentially paid for a better part of the trip. So we went all the way to Lincoln, Nebraska this year, and it cost the students less than it did to go to Michigan State last year. So that was an accomplishment. You worked hard for that. Congratulations, and just start planning, because next year we have aspirations, not just 10, but we want to get there again. We want to win the state. We want to repeat, do all of those things to get ready. We also have the opportunity, perhaps next year, if we do all those things, next year it's in Los Angeles at the University of Southern California. So I think there's some incentive to kind of lock in early and get going on this. So we are starting probably next week already with all of this. Thank you to my boss at the high school, Heather Pino. Again, always going there for advice, and she is one who gives me that wisdom in what we should do and how we should handle things, but also is very supportive of our program. So very much appreciate that. Along with the staff at Montgomery High School, I have the distinct pleasure of leading a group of science educators that will put up against anyone as educators and as people. So they come out for us. There were 4 or 5 of them that attended state championship this year to help run events. So when asked, they come out, and they're good people, and I greatly appreciate all of them. So with that being said, I think we will kind of turn this off and let you show off some things. So you will see one thing. Ren has been, getting a little arm workout with our electric vehicle, and you can ask some questions about these things. We brought in a couple of our devices that are the show and tell stuff. In 23 events, there are about 5 of them that you can watch that we call spectator events, and others that are, a combination of engineering and building events and testing events that you can't see. So a lot of things get uncovered at the awards. So we're going to show you off the air trajectory that's over there. All homemade, 3D printed right in-house, so all of these things. And this is iterative design. This is probably air trajectory number 4 or so, and hours of testing. We have our electric vehicle again that you're going to see that is again used our 3D printers to get most of that. And then Anisha's going to wind up the helicopter. Because when we both walked in here, this is an amazing ceiling for the helicopter. So we'll get to see the helicopter fly. So thank you again, all the students coming out, and let's get ready to go, Monty. We've got some work to do. So thank you.
So yeah, since everyone's looking, this is the air trajectory. The goal is simple. Unfortunately, we don't have the a full target set up here, but essentially it consists of a near target that's elevated up to 2 meters off the ground, so higher than head height, a far target, and then a bucket shot. So of course the bucket shot, everyone likes to see it's the biggest barn, so hopefully it's gonna go in. Unfortunately, we forgot our laser alignment device, so please don't blame me if this misses. So, yeah.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, they do not know any of the heights or the distances for those targets until you drop your machine off that day, and you have to be ready for all of the parameters. So it's not like we could just sit and practice at a target like we did before we came in today to hopefully get this bucket shot.
Let's see what happens. You guys give me a 3, 2, 1, and then yeah, we'll hit it. 3, 2, 1.
So we'll give them a little pause to do the second one. Again, the first shot usually is at an elevated target about 2 meters up in the air. You're trying to get as close to that target as you can. If you get within 40 centimeters, 50 centimeters I think it is, you get a shot at the bonus, which is the bucket. So this is not a guaranteed every time. And then there's another target that is out farther off the center, about 8 or 9 meters sometimes. And that target, again, if you get there, you get a bonus shot at the bucket.
This is very eyeball.
Mr. Sheldon, how many chances do you get?
Pardon me?
How many chances do you get?
You get one shot at the target. Well, you essentially get 4 shots total. So if you get within 50 centimeters, then you can take your second shot at the bonus bucket on either one of the targets. So you basically get 4 shots.
But usually there we have like a measuring device, like a laser thing that tells us how wide the machine is.
All right, so hopefully this one goes in. If it doesn't, that's not good. But 3, 2, 1.
It does not have to stay in. So then you want to get your helicopter ready to go? Okay, so we're going to wind up the helicopter. So the helicopter alternates year to year with something usually a balsa wood plane. These helicopters go through quite a bit. So they are very delicate in terms of what they're made out of, balsa wood and some very light mylar. The goal is to basically wind this thing up and get it to stay in the air as long as possible. For the helicopter, your goal is to get it to basically go up to the ceiling and sit there and spin for as long as you can. So they have to test the different type of rubber bands that they're using. There's all kinds of parameters that we have. These helicopters probably weigh, what is it? I think it's under 4 grams. I have to get the data on that. What is anybody know the mass of the helicopter?
Yes.
It's very light. So imagine like a nickel is about as much. This is also not a national helicopter because that one put us still on the way home. It's not fly over. When I was packing up the car tonight, I did forget to bring over our bridge. I will note that our bridge took, I think, 3rd place in the nation. So we have a bridge that, or a tower, I'm sorry, that held over 15 kilograms and weighed just about 5 grams, which is about the mass of the hill.
If you guys want to give a countdown, I'll release it when you.
3, 2, 1.
So at the national competition, we got a time of around 2 minutes and 46 seconds, and that got us 3rd place. I believe the winning team got like a little over 3 minutes. This is not going to get that high because this is just a test. We didn't line that hard, but yeah, that's just an idea of how long we need to stay in the air.
So on top of just watching this, each one of these devices is probably in the neighborhoods of time and actual cost somewhere around $60 and probably at least 60 hours of flying and building time. So they invest in them. We have 4 or 5 of these. When we go to competitions, we need to be able to bring 3 of these devices. So the students are always building and always doing this, and unfortunately always breaking too, because they're pretty. Okay, so if you want to walk over and get a little closer look, I think those are 2 big demos tonight. We tried to keep it shorter and sweeter, but you can see what the device looks like. Check out the 3D print air trajectory, but ask some questions. They've got all the answers.
Hello.
Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty thin. You have to be pretty careful.
The more you wind, the longer time it stays up. Is that
Yeah, although there is like, after a certain point, that's not really the case.
Okay.
So you have to experiment with like just a lot of testing. We keep a log just to see like how many winds needs to be done, what time. Because if you wind too much, number 1, the rubber can snap. Number 2, like some helicopters are.
Quickly do that massive mine.
We actually we have it all calibrated at all these different angles of light, so we don't need to do any math
At the side, because here.
So yeah, it's not actually yeah. Your yawning makes you so good.
Well done.
That's basically essentially we actually changed the ball from what was actually a very light ball. So we actually used something similar to ping pong ball. How close it gets to it? How close it gets to it? So what we were finding is that the air currents in a room are like TV and how fast
You don't until the day of the competition. Yes, and then during the competition, you have to like program the vehicle to go that specific distance.
and then the 3D printed?
Thank you again for coming out and good luck with your finals.
Okay, we'll now move on to committee representative reports. First up, MTA report. Stand by 1 second, Mr. Rosales. I jumped the gun, sorry.
I wanted to highlight a few, before we close out the year, a few of the accomplishments throughout the buildings. I'll go all over the place. So we'll start with LMS. 5th and 6th graders in the KEK, which is the Kids Equal Kindness group, donated $786 to Madison Elementary School in Pasadena, California, a school directly impacted by the wildfires this past year. The Kids Equal Kindness is a group that raises funds by selling bracelets during lunch in the cafeteria, demonstrating a powerful act of compassion and support. Over 30 character recognition awards were distributed to students at LMS this year for going above and beyond in random acts of kindness towards their peers at school. Unified PE was created and implemented to strengthen peer-to-peer relationships and to ensure inclusivity. In addition to UMS, being named a National Blue Ribbon School of Excellence. It was also honored to be named, it also was given the honor to be named the top performing school in Somerset County. This rating was a result of having the highest summative score, which is a combination of standardized test scores, student academic growth, and attendance. This is a direct result of our staff, exceptional students, and support of the community as a whole. Montgomery High School students continue to rank among the highest in New Jersey and nationally, with standout SAT and AP performance, 15 national merit finalists, and significant growth in AP participation. Achievements span from Math League, Science Olympiad, National Language Contest, and prestigious awards like Seal of Biliteracy. Students excelled in Model UN, Speech and Debate, Robotics, FBLA, Academic League, and Performing Arts. Honors include top national and state placements, prestigious nominations, and recognition for inspiring leadership and excellence across all disciplines. MHS teams won multiple conference championships and state-level honors across sports, while individual coaches and athletes were celebrated for their outstanding contributions. The school was named a Unified Champion School and recognized nationally for music education excellence. Here at Orchard Hill, STEM and inventive play are alive and well. All throughout the school year, our Cubs at the various grade levels engage in opportunities to explore, build, fail, and problem solve. Not only did this take place in the classroom during instruction, but during days of play and outdoor Cubs Cave as well. Students in 1st and 2nd grade were exposed to the new phonics program this year, which had a direct positive impact on our young readers and the ability to dissect words and decode text independently. Across grade levels, students in math continue to be more comfortable applying taught skills and strategies to activities and games provided outside of the structure of the lesson. This is a foundational piece of our math curriculum, and our Cubs are showing evidence of it on a daily basis. Almost done, sorry, Mike. This year marked the successful implementation of Blazers Beliefs at Village. As our first year introducing the school-wide initiative, students and staff embraced its core values, helping to build a stronger, more respectful, and inclusive school community. We're proud of positive impact it's already had and look forward to continuing to grow this important work in the years ahead. Third graders recently took stage for their first evening choir concert, proudly showcasing their musical talents and beautiful artwork they've created throughout the year. Meanwhile, the 4th graders had an exciting opportunity to perform in band, orchestra, and choir concerts held at Montgomery Performing Arts Center, giving them the first glimpse of the big stage. We are thrilled to share that 5 of our talent vocalists represented Village in the prestigious 2025 New Jersey Elementary and Junior All-State Choirs. 4th graders participated in the 2025 Somerset County Constitutional Officers Poster Contest, showcasing their creativity and understanding of civic responsibility. We're proud to announce they had a 1st place winner and a 3rd place winner, along with several students who received honorable mentions. And last but not least, starting with the 25-26 school year, all schools must use universal screeners to gauge students' achievement of key literacy skills in alignment with the New Jersey Learning Standards, English Language Arts, specifically in grades K to 3. The focus, funding for Optimal Comprehensive Universal Screener grant, was made available to school districts to offset both the cost of the screener and the necessary professional development for the teachers. We're happy to say Montgomery Township received $10,070 for this grant that we will implement next year. That concludes the superintendent report.
And now, MC President White.
Well, I'm glad Mary went, because I was about to complain about my spot again, because I'm always after all the cool stuff. Like, it's always like robots, helicopters, national awards, then me. So I welcome Mary jumping in there for a little bit, because it's tough. It's a tough show to follow. It really is. All right, so as the year winds down, so do some of our programs. Our last read aloud is happening right now tonight. Stephanie Lockenauer is our guest reader there. So we've had great attendance for all of our read-alouds with a lot of our younger students from Orchard and Village. They've been really fun to partake in, just the discussions and hearing what pizza kids like and all the crazy stuff that they add to it. All that work happens as part of our Pep and Fast program. So huge shout out to Stacy Anderson. She's the chair of that program. So she writes all the grants, she does all the paperwork, all the organizing. Very difficult because those things are always changing with regulations. So she writes almost like 30 different grants a year. So it's a lot of extra work for her. So big shout out. So even though the year's ending, her work hasn't. we'll have Montgomery Summer Pride. That'll be a whole bunch of books that are going out for students that are in need. So we will continue to support our community and the students throughout the summer to make sure they receive books. In the summer, we will be sending 5 MTA members to the National Education Association Representative Assembly. That is in Portland, Oregon this year. Those members will represent Montgomery, Somerset County, and the state of New Jersey as we discuss different topics that all schools around the nation face and different members. So we'll be there as representatives from here. So thank you very much and have a great summer.
Thank you, Mr. Gilden. Do you have any board member delegate representative reports tonight?
I just have an update. The Somerset County School Board Association new leadership met and started planning. We do have our next meeting. I know it's coming up, October 9th. It is a while, but the good news is we're really trying to change the format. It will be at the VOTEC school, but we're looking to have more panel discussions when we will be bringing superintendents and other folks for conversation around AI, around academic integrity, around superintendent-led conversations, what's important to superintendents across Somerset County. So we're looking to stick with Somerset County, but if this becomes popular, then we'll be looking to explore elsewhere outside of the county. So Thursday, October 9th is the next meeting, so if you are free, feel free to join. Great meal, too.
Thank you.
I just wanted to share the Municipal Alliance held its last meeting for the fiscal year on June 9th, and 2 things that I wanted to lift up. One, I want to commend the partnership between the Municipal Alliance and the school district led by Mr. Corey Delgado, Ms. Christine Grossman, and Ms. Stephanie Lachenauer as the advisor for Monty Ave. The work and partnership they've been doing over the past years has really been great. It's been fruitful, especially the lunch and learn at the high school. They've had a lot of students participate. Like session 1, they had 38 students, session 2, 39 students, and session 3, 20 students. And it was a variety of speakers from vocational professionals, doctors, they had across the board, and there's a lot of interest. So hoping that they can do it again this coming spring and maybe a little bit more organized in a way where we can invite more speakers and have more students attend. Because it's very clear that students wanted to hear from these professionals. The other thing that was brought up at the meeting, which I think is of concern, the Princeton Elks Food Pantry, which is a private nonprofit food pantry led by Ellen Robbins, will be closing September 1st. And she had shared that, and I commend her for really supporting the families of the community and the students of the community. And she shared that we have about 420 students who go to the food pantry, to take advantage of what they had to offer. And with the closing of the Princeton Elks Food Pantry, she's partnering with the township to create a similar offering that the township can do, similar to what the Princeton Elks has been doing over the past couple of years. But I'm sure they're going to need volunteers to help them, partnership with the school district. I'm just concerned about how our students will be affected by this. If there are 420 students at the moment, and with what's going on, in the country right now, there might be more students eventually that will need to take advantage of what the food pantry has to offer. So just for us to think about for food insecurity in this town and how we can help our students. That's it.
Thank you. Any other delegate representative reports?
The CPAG and SEPTA both met since the last board meeting. One was just right after and the other was the beginning of June. Both wrapping up the MSEPTA's last event, or upcoming event is being postponed. It was going to be an ice cream social at the Elks. And it's going to be July 7th instead of this week or next week. So July 7th will be that for the MSEPTA. And I know that Tiger's Tail has given a lot of, there's been, write-ups about them and what they've done for MSEPTA this year. It's been really great. The community's come together a lot around our special education parent group. One thing of note, I think that both CPAG and MSEPTA were both questioning and talking about the last two meetings. And the CPAG meeting was not very well attended, unfortunately. I was the only parent there, and it was in person. And I think that we should probably be doing more to get more parents to going to those meetings. There was about 10 at the MSEPTA meeting, so perhaps queuing those in again together would be great. Both groups were both talking about the Blue Envelope program, which is a program that you have a blue envelope either of a parent of an autistic child or an autistic driver themselves, which would alert police that maybe that driver or passenger who might be having some difficulty communicating or calming down in a stressful situation, what that person is going through and how the officer can handle it with care. I know that CPAG members and SEPTA members wanted to know about how many blue envelopes were handed out at the last initiative. So again, these are all community partnerships that are working together to keep our students and our community members safe and well-fed and all of the things. So keep supporting them.
May I have a question for Ansia? Is this a parent-lead organized group or school lead group?
So the CPAG is a special education parent action group, which is required by every school district to have in place. They have to have parents as a part of that group. So there
But
are
it's not
three.
parent lead, it's kind of currently a school lead now, right?
No, there's three. The three board members are parents. It's three
CPAG.
parents. One at the lower elementary, one in the middle grades, and one who has high school students. So it's spread, and their children have varying needs. And so those people are the board of CPAG, and one of those coordinators was also on the MSEPTA call. So there should be some overlap that happens with those parents. It would be wonderful to have more, and so that we could, frequently all be talking together and, working in the same.
It would, like before, had a lot of parents involved, engaged.
Well, MSEPTA is like a PTA group, and CPAG is the required by the state. We're the only ones, by the way, within MSEPTA, really. Like, not a lot of districts, I don't know of any, that have a parent PTA group that do as much. The dance,
Ice cream.
giving out scholarships for our special education students. I mean, they really do so much. So, and even they do some of the work that CPAG can partner on as well, which is like educating parents about the IEP process and different things. And they will partner with other community groups to bring those types of things virtually versus in person. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Any other committee representative reports?
I do. Just on that note, I was at the PTA meeting and PTO meeting. Unfortunately, this month I had to miss the PTSA meeting, but the common theme is everyone's ending the year, tying up, fundraisers and things like that. It's been a wonderful, successful year. Some of the key takeaways, they're looking for volunteers, parents, encouraging parents to come to the schools and volunteer. So please, come the fall, please sign up for memberships for all the schools, because we are really, really looking for families to join. And one big takeaway for the PTA meeting that the conversation that occurred was full day kindergarten. What is success, a success that's been, and just academically and socially, the benefits that the teachers were seeing in the students. So that was really wonderful to hear that, and we're anxious and excited to see that data continue to increase and get more information, as next year I think will be the first, next year I think it'll be every year, every grade, kinder through second, will have full day kindergarten. So that'll be really exciting to see that progress continue. So thank you.
I have a question for, when you said 400 plus students.
420 students. students, according to Eleanor.
Are they students of Montgomery School
Yes.
District?
They're availing of the free reduced lunch. And I looked it up too, because of the federal poverty, what do you call this, annual income has increased. So for the state of New Jersey, if you're a family of four and you make about 70,000, you're considered, to below poverty line. So you're applying for free and reduced lunch, and that's increased. Like, I think that's double from when I started in Montgomery as a board member here. We expect that number will continue to grow.
So, Mary, I have a question for you. So, does a school district, other than just doing the free and reduced lunch during the school time, do we extend our help in the community later, for the families who are in need? Do we do anything? No. Do we have any grants we get to give them free backpacks and school supplies or anything like that?
So we have Title I funds that we utilize to support the students before and after school in their activities. Oh, sorry.
We have Title I funds that support students.
Do we let our students know there are other community, like church offer food pantry, something
Yes.
like? Okay, so we do provide information.
Yes.
Thank you.
The reason why I'm saying is in the school district where I work, there are
Your microphone.
the school district where I work for, there is a homeless or displaced liaison.
Oh yeah, we have one too.
We
But
have-
not all students that maybe have food insecurity are homeless. Like they're separate categories.
Separate categories. And then,
I think that's why I brought it up. That number to me is pretty concerning. It's a large number, especially, like I said, since from when I started here a couple of years ago, 420 is a lot of students. Yeah. And just to think about what that will mean once the food pantry closes and there's no alternative. I don't know when the township can have something comparable that will be up and running by the time the Elks close. Supporting our community, our students is important. And what can we do?
I think at the lower grade, is it true, correct me if I'm wrong, Orchard does Cubs Helping Cubs, which is just a small step towards helping, I know the holidays they had donations for gifts and things like that, so that's maybe something we can continue to look for things like that.
So I do know that Ellen is partnering with the township to try and see if they can have the same offerings that the Elks used to provide. I think the Elks also provided fresh food, which the township, I believe, does not. And trying to figure out how that can happen after September 1st.
It's true though. What can we all do?
I think Ellen was the only one that ran it. And you can't go into the pantry if Ellen wasn't there, and she does, I'm sure, does other things. So
Any other questions? Any other board representative reports? Not, we'll go on to board committee reports. Assessment Curriculum and Instruction Committee, Board Member Dowd.
I think I'm the only one on this panel that doesn't really need a microphone, but I will use a microphone. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me, or did I break it? You broke it. Can you hear me? I apologize.
You know your own strength.
Okay. Okay, to keep us on task, we met on June. Thank you. We met on June 6th, virtually and in person. First, we spoke about the extended school year. An update, this occurs during the month of July at OHES. It does service the entire district in order to make sure that there are no gaps in learning, and this services students through the age of 21. And this is a mandated program through the Special Education Code. Secondly, we had an update from counseling where we talked about the scholarship night. 94 awards were distributed to students totaling $75,000 in awards, so it was a very successful and celebratory evening. We also talked about the multi-tiered system of support, MTSS, which is a framework to proactively and reactively support all students at various levels. The district is working on streamlining the process with instructional interventions. They have made great strides to integrate structures and programs that include the INRS process, the RTI process, UDL, morning meeting, academic support, restorative practices, and others to support all types of learners, not just those that are struggling. While there is still some work to be done on this basis, while there's still work to be done, they have refined processes with better goal setting, progress monitoring, and strengthening the composition of the teams. Instructionally, they have adopted better aligned Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions, and the implementation of the UDL strategies has helped the classroom teachers to become better educators in the Tier 1 strategy category. Questions from the ACI committee included if there were efforts made to invite students for goal-setting meetings with counselors, and that is an area that they are also trying to strengthen, and that students who are excelling and doing well are continuing to be challenged through the Voyagers and Expeditions resources through the Tier 1. Then we talked about a summer reading book that was proposed. The literary text recommendation is named An Artist of the Following Float, and that would be for the high school AP Literature and Composition class. This would be a replacement book replacing 100 Years of Solitude. This is a historical fiction book. All AP books cover critical reading and a literary critique, and this would be better aligned to the beginning of the school year. Technology summer projects include supporting the SOAR and the Extended School Year program. They also are transitioning to a new website company. This is really exciting news because the website will be better formatted for it to be more mobile friendly and more visually appealing. At OHES and VES, they will be replacing all classroom computers, which the other 3 schools have already been upgraded. There is a 7 to 10 year old, these computers are 7 to 10 years old and they no longer support Windows 11. 2 computer labs also need to be refreshed, and they will have business programs with more middle of the road processors, which is a step up from what we have currently. Then we talked about the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment, which is an individual student report, and that will be made available through the Genesis Parent Portal on July 17th, June 17th, which I believe is today.
They've already gone out.
And they've already gone out, thank you. This assessment is taken by 11th grade students only and is a state mandated graduation requirement. Parents and families of 11th graders will be notified via email as soon as the scores are available, so hopefully everybody has been notified. And summary results will be presented at the July Board of Education meeting. And then lastly, we talked about enrollment. The committee was provided with student enrollment numbers for in-district students from the previous 5 years of UMS 8th grade classes. The student cohort consisted of the following classes: class of 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028. For the classes of 2025 through 2028, enrollment numbers were supplied for each cohort's last day of their 8th grade year, mid-October of their 9th grade year, and June 4th, 2025. The class of 2024's enrollment numbers were supplied from the last day of their 8th grade year, mid-October of their 9th grade year, and the last day of the 2023-24 school year. And that was it. Any questions or comments?
I do.
Please.
Can you go into what the enrollment data that was presented encompassed and what, if there was any trends that were noted and why we were going through the enrollment data?
I know, I'm not going to touch it anymore.
Just lean forward.
Why it was presented?
Yes.
It was on the agenda. I honestly don't know why it was presented, but I will certainly. Did you bring it up as a question?
Yeah, it was a question you mentioned, I think.
No, but it was. No, it was.
At the last board event.
It was presented. It was. It was asked as a question.
Yes, it was enrollment and retention question. So
yes,
the
thank
enrollment
you.
question got answered.
What were the answers?
You summarized them.
Was there a decline from 8th grade to 9th grade and 9th grade to June of 2025 in the years 2024, 2025, 26, 27, and 28 graduating
Just
class
looking
years?
at the enrollment, you cannot fully answer your question because you do have to take a look at the retention, and that part of the question is not addressed.
But was there a decline in the enrollment?
Not a substantial decline. No, that was answered.
Is there going to be additional follow-up on this or not at this time?
I think the administrator did say for students who will disenroll the school district, will code it into 3 categories, but that's it. So I did not hear will there be follow-up on the retention, but I think that's an important question school board we should ask and hear.
Is there a concern from the administration about retention of students from 8th to 9th, 9th to 12th? Thank you. So I don't, if there's not a concern, I don't know why we're further looking into
I don't
that.
think it's a concern. I think it's just a knowledge, right? Are we retaining our students? Are students going elsewhere? What are we doing? You know, is it our curriculum? So it's just part of the end-to-end story and the process. I think that's why the question's asked.
I think it's a healthy practice to basically have a routine report on how we're doing as a district. I know like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, there was a really comprehensive report that a superintendent presented at the board meeting, which I found very valuable before even becoming a board member. And that report showed us by grade how many students were enrolled, how many students left the district, how many new students came in. It was quite informative, and it's just data that I think we all as board members should have. And it's a good practice because it provides opportunity for good reflection, what we're doing right, what we need to focus on.
I think what's difficult about that, and this was answered to some extent at the ACI meeting, is that there are how do you document, one thing is numbers of students coming and going, but there's a variety of reasons why students are coming and going and why families are coming and going. And I think it's very difficult to sort of pinpoint, if there's a decline, of 20 families, that doesn't necessarily correlate to the strength or the weakness of our program.
Well, I think before we jump to that analysis, I think just seeing numbers, how they trend, is a good start, because if there is really no unusual fluctuation, then you're right. It's like there is really no point of digging in and trying to, track the families and ask them why they're leaving. But if we do see a trend, then maybe it's worthwhile to find out what exactly can we do better to retain them.
I think the numbers are the numbers. I think what's difficult is that we don't ask those questions, right? Like we don't have exit surveys. We don't have, that idea of why is it that families are coming and or why are they going?
No, I think from the school administrator, what they shared is why they disenrolled the school district. They have to report that to the state. So that explains the reason why they left school. Like they decide to homeschooling, they decide to enroll in neighborhoods, school district, they decide to move out of the state. There are three reasons. There are three categories for different codes.
Right. There's three categories.
And
then they'll have to submit the student
so
records
any
for-
board of
right.
governance would ask about enrollment and retention questions because those are important data for us to provide to the community it's about transparency, it's about accountability, right? Why we don't ask about this question. These are data shared with NJDOE, and why we can't share with the community.
So I guess here's my I don't see the red flag is what I'm saying, I guess, because if our enrollment data hasn't changed drastically and our student the number of students in the school system hasn't changed drastically.
I don't know how you define drastically because what the data I see is 1 year big, 1 year small, 1 year
there's
big,
bubble
1 year
years.
small.
That always happens if you over time.
What
But a drastic change would be
Does it hurt to share that data with the community?
Well, no, but it's there. Like, okay, I'm just saying I don't see red flags to be asking to go and do these deep dive digs to say this is the big thing that's going to
So we just
help
check
our
the list.
ACI committee to move the needle forward. That's not.
Board Member Phelan, what were you saying a couple of years ago that what was presented?
Yes, so I can share a copy. Great.
It was a public presentation?
Yeah, I'm very precise.
Prior to your meeting on the board?
Before.
But again, I'm just asking because I didn't realize that there was a huge concern or big red flags
So it's a
here.
report that's been shown in the past.
Yes.
So I'm
So
assuming
there's
that we
baseline
have
data there that we can track over time.
that we're able to generate yet again.
It's just for the enrollment piece, for the retention piece, we did not get that information.
But the
And
retention
we know
will
that
be
retention is 4 students equal to average of 1 teacher's salary. We really want to keep Monty fabulous, excellent teacher here. We should also think about how to retain the students. This is all across nationally, all the Board of Governance would ask from K-12 public to higher education. We all ask this basic enrollment and the retention questions.
We get it on our enrollment report every year. Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Board Member Dowling. Moving on to Operations, Facilities, and Finance Committee, Board Member Belak.
So the Operations, Finance, and Facilities Committee met on Tuesday, June 10th. Mr. Italiano provided a brief update on the status of the auditor RFP, and he reported that the advertisement was published in the Courier News on June 13th, and it will run for 21 business days with the submission deadline July 24th. He emphasized the importance of adhering to this timeline. The advertisement will also be posted on the district website upon receipt of the proof of publication, which actually happened today. Thank you. Mr. Italiana also reached out to the building principals to collect input from their advisory committee meeting regarding food service. He also plans to visit a different school cafeteria each week to gather first-hand feedback, ensuring stronger accountability from Macchio's Food Services. This is in response to the feedback that we received that more oversight is needed. We also received an update on the progress in submission of the extraordinary aid application. The district submitted its EXAID application this month, and Mr. Italiano worked very closely with Director of Special Education to ensure all eligible expenses were captured. The final award amount will be shared with the board around August, so hopefully we will have the results to present to the community at the August board meeting. Superintendent McLaughlin noted that the current shared services agreement with the township expires on June 30th. The proposed new agreement includes revised usage schedules and that differ slightly from those currently in place. The township has scheduled a summer program requiring the use of school district facilities such as pool and the courts. Therefore, it's very critical that the township returns the signed agreement by June 30th to avoid disruptions to community programs. Multiple follow-ups from the business administrator to the township administrator were made, and the reason for the delay remains unclear. Without a signed agreement, the district will not be able to allow township access to facilities after June 30th. So we strongly urge the township to take prompt action to see that these programs can continue uninterrupted and the signed agreements are returned. Mr. O'Neill shared updates on the district's long-term facilities plan. He recently conducted walkthroughs of 4 out of 5 schools alongside with the lead architect from our architects of record, and they focused on infrastructure needs. The key areas reviewed included keying system, drainage issues, and moving conditions. Mr. O'Neill also identified potential HVAC upgrades that may qualify for ROD grant funding. Mr. Will Ross from Perret Samgen Architects is scheduled to attend the August committee meeting to provide a more detailed update on the long facility plan. The committee reviewed progress of hiring the assistant business administrator. The position has remained vacant for 7 months. This ongoing vacancy has placed a significant strain on our business administrator and presents a risk to district operations in the absence of a certified backup to the BA or board secretary roles. The committee inquired where the position is currently being advertised, and they are not, well, I have not been able to look at the postings. The committee will continue to monitor this process closely, and we will help, to ensure this position is filled promptly with highly qualified certified candidate. The committee requested an update on whether the district is actively pursuing pilot funding opportunities. Neighboring districts such as Hopewell and Princeton have successfully reached agreements with their municipalities to share pilot funds for school facility upgrades. The business administrator will consult with the district attorney at Fogarty and Hara and is expected to present a recommendation at or before the July meeting. Any questions?
I know our township council is very excited about partnering with Pilot. The town council is very excited about partnering and partnering with you on the pilot initiative. So hopefully that goes off and we're able to.
I had a call with the Princeton business administrator, and our law firm is the same one that they used right there, so they kind of gave us some insight on that. And as Felix said, we're going to take that step to kind of get that information. And essentially, usually speaking, the township does reach out to the district. So we're going to do our due diligence and we're kind of extend the olive branch to them to try to kind of move that forward. Just be mindful what the other towns did and what our town did. It kind of depends on the relationships we have with the developers, and it does take time, but we're going to kind of take these steps forward to kind of pursue it. I want to make one other comment regarding the pool. I secured a meeting with the township leadership for this Thursday morning with Superintendent McLaughlin, myself, the mayor, the town administrator, Park Recs leader, to kind of try to get that through within the timeline. So I'm optimistic for some progress with that.
Great. Thank you for the update.
Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll move to Policy and Communications Committee. Board members Woodlucky Jernigan and Franco Harris.
So we met on June 5th, and we discussed a couple policies. As you guys have heard me say, we worked with NJSBA on doing a wellness check. That drove some discussion with Strauss Esme. We've also initiated a Strauss Esme policy audit, which is part of our contract. So as you will see over the next few months, there will be some cleaned up policies that are being sent for approval. Those two policies are here today, policy 3134, assignment of extra duties, as well as policy 7130 of school closing. The language has been updated for those policies per the latest updates. In addition to that, the superintendent provided an update on the National School Public Relations Association follow-up communications survey, which has been completed. We're awaiting results, and I believe that there's some meetings scheduled, and we should be getting some additional feedback. Approximately 460 participants completed the survey, so we should hear those results momentarily. That's all I have on policy.
That is, how do you feel that is the 460 in relation to other surveys or previous surveys, more or less?
It's about the same.
Any other questions? No. All right, Human Resources Committee met on June 10th. We talked about Assistant Superintendent Kelly Mattis updated us on the vice principal searches. Happy to announce that Jessica Glover, the acting VP, has been recommended for Village, and Megan Moore is the recommendation for UMS. Nope, I'm sorry. Yes, for UMS. She's a current school counselor at UMS. So those are the two current recommendations. It was fantastic that we were able to move forward with internal candidates. Just so you know, as I'm sure you're aware, there have been a lot of layoffs district-wide. As a result, well, I say district-wide, other districts throughout the state. As a result, Village VES had approximately 90 applicants, and UMS had approximately 60 applicants. So very fortunate that we found two internal candidates from that very large pool. As board member Felak mentioned, the search for the assistant business administrator position is still ongoing. We've decided to, or Mr. Italiano has decided to expand that search. We have been using a couple of well-known school board employment sites. We talked about expanding those sites to other employment sites such as LinkedIn and Indeed.com and other employment sites. So hopefully we can secure someone from those sites. I did have to leave the meeting early, so board member Felak, is there anything that I missed that was discussed after the meeting?
Nothing that can be shut down.
Okay. Thank you much. Any questions? All right, hearing none. At this time, I'll take a motion to accept the minutes of May 16, 2025 special meeting, May 20th, 2025 executive session, May 20th, 2025 business meeting.
So moved. Second.
It's been properly moved and second. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please, Mr. Chaliano.
Dr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Dowling?
Yes.
Ms. Spina?
Yes.
Frank Herman?
Yes.
Ms. Felak?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Ms. Walker Jernigan?
Yes.
Ms. Nargon?
Yes.
Mr. Todd?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you. At this time, the board recognizes the correspondence to the board. Action agenda items, public comment. The Board of Education welcomes and encourages input from the public. Members of the public are allotted one opportunity to address the board regarding the action agenda items only for up to a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker. All comments must be directed to the board. Before you make your comment, please state your full name and address and enter both in the Chromebook provided. Being mindful of privacy rights regarding students, board employees, and board members, and to avoid any liability on the part of the speaker, the board discourages defamatory and discourteous remarks. The public comment portions of the meeting are not structured as question and answer sessions, but rather are offered as opportunities for the public to share their thoughts with the board. The board may need to refer an issue to the superintendent if the issue has not been handled through the appropriate chain of command, usually starting at the school level. Responses may be provided at the end of this session. Any public comment for action agenda items? Hearing and seeing none.
Okay, before we go to the action agenda roll call vote, I need to make a couple of minor amendments. I'm going to read them aloud right now. They will happen in the personnel section. The first one is 4.1, section N, appointment of proctors. We're going to withdraw items 22 through 25. The next item is item 4.3. That is a settlement agreement between an employee whose name is on file in the superintendent's office and the Board of Education. And the last one is item 4.4. Those are 2025, 2026 renewals of unaffiliated central office staff. I'm going to read those aloud. The first one is for me. Andrew Taliano, Business Administrator, Board Secretary, salary $198,000. The next one is for Kelly Mattis, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, salary $195,818. And the third one is for Damian Papa, Assistant Superintendent of Schools, salary $197,657. That will be added to the agenda as item 4.4. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Italiano. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept action agenda items 1.1 through 4.4 with the amendments noted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Dr. Wang?
Yes.
Ms. Dowd?
Yes.
Ms. Spina?
Yes.
Fred Harmon?
Abstain, 1.2, 1.3, 4.1 to 4.3, yes to everything else.
Noted. Thank you. Ms. Phelan?
I need to abstain on the travel section, 3.4, Schedule C. Other than that, yes.
Noted. Thank you. Ms. Harris?
Abstain, 1.2, 1.3, 4.1 to 4.3, and yes to everything else.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Fila.
All right. Ms. Willett-Kajurnia?
I'm going to abstain from Schedule J, travel agenda.
And for the rest of the items?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Nargo?
I'm going to abstain from Schedule J, travel reimbursement, and yes to others.
Noted. Thank you. Mr. Todd?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion's carried.
Thank you, Mr. Italiano. New business from the public. The Board of Education welcomes and encourages input from the public. Members of the public are allotted one opportunity to bring any new business to the board for up to a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker. All comments must be directed to the board. Before you make your comment, please state your full name and address and enter both on the Chromebook provided. Being mindful of privacy rights regarding students, board employees, and board members, and to avoid any potential liability on the part of the speaker, the board discourages defamatory and discourteous remarks. The public comment portions of the meeting are not structured as question and answer sessions. The board may need to refer an issue to the superintendent if the issue has not been handled through the appropriate chain of command, usually starting at the school level. Responses may be provided at the end of this session. Public comments are now open.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Balaji Agneshwaran from 300 Berkeley Avenue. And I've been here for months and I've stood for the same request. Please bring back the double accredited math program in Montgomery that includes that in 5th grade use of pre-algebra. This is not just a concern of my child. There has been a growing number of families, with 100 families are concerned on our district, are no longer meeting the need for the most driven, capable mathematics students. When you removed the double accredited program, you didn't take away a class. You took away opportunity. You took away momentum from the students who are motivated, curious, and ready to work hard. You told them, slow down, wait. And now, on the top of that, we see the curriculum is being watered down. Content stretched thin across grades, challenges is disappearing from classrooms, and kids are losing interest. Not because they're incapable, but because they are not challenged. Let's be honest, the only way to get ahead now is outside the school system, by paying for private tutors, summer courses, and transportation. This is not equity, that's privilege. Montgomery has always been a district that values academic excellence, but right now they are making a choice to limit students instead of lifting them. By removing a double accelerated program, we have quietly created a two-tiered system. One for the families who can afford to supplement, and another for the rest. We have turned what should have been a merit-based path to a pay-to-play track. I ask you again, why not support the kids who are ready for more within the school day, under the guidance of trained teachers, with a transparent and fair process? Advanced math isn't just a subject, it's a gateway to opportunity. By closing that gateway, we are closing futures. Fairness doesn't mean holding everyone back. Fairness means letting each child go as far as the talent and dedication will take them. Please bring back the double accelerated math program. Let's build a Montgomery where every student, regardless of background, has a chance to thrive. Thank you so much.
Good evening, board members. Good evening, Superintendent. My name is Christopher Menente, and I reside at 98 Stotts Farm Road in Belmead. I'm here tonight to ask all of you to consider two emails that I recently sent to the board on behalf of my son, Lincoln Menente. Lincoln is a student with a disability that is parentally enrolled in a recognized special education school for kids like him who would like to participate in district athletic program. Lincoln has been a wrestler on the Montgomery recreational team for 8 years. He's a role model athlete on that team. He won the award last year, even for his sportsmanship and how he mentors younger athletes on the team. He's made the New Jersey State Championships as a wrestler for 2 years in a row now. So really just a model athlete. And again, attends a school outside of the district because it's better for his education. In the state of New Jersey, kids who are parentally placed in special education schools have the ability to participate in district athletics with the approval of the Board of Education, which is why I've reached out to all of you and why I'm here tonight. So I'm a little bit confused by the response I received, my initial inquiry by email. It seemed very abrupt. I got a response that my son wasn't eligible because he didn't meet the criteria and that he was not either enrolled in the district or he was not a student with a disability attending a recognized school for special education. Again, my son is a student with a disability who attends a special school for kids like him. That's well known by the administration in the district. Previously, some of you know, I was a leader for the district special education parent advisory group. I've been very vocal about my concerns about the quality of special services in the district. One of the concerns that was frequently raised in our district was that there's an adversarial culture in our district between administration and parents. So far to that many parents are afraid to raise concerns for fear of retribution. In that their kids wouldn't get the same educational opportunities as other kids if they raise those concerns. I have to say I do share those concerns. I do feel like I have cause for concern that my inquiry isn't being handled fairly. And again, this is primarily a Board of Ed matter. That's what the law states, is that it's up to the Board of Ed to decide whether my son will have the opportunity to participate in athletics. So instead of having our superintendent unilaterally make a decision on this, given the history of me raising concerns about the quality of services in our district and the quality of her leadership in particular.
That's time.
I'm asking the board to vote on this tonight. Thank you.
Good evening. I am Fiona Borland, and I have been your Director of Curriculum, Instruction, and Staff Development since 2019, but I've been committed to supporting Montgomery teachers in instruction and innovation since 2013 as the Director of Instructional Technology. Words like trust, transparency, and respectful dialogue have been used at the BOE table, while at the same time a board member pulled out a college textbook and recommended that the administrators may want to read in order to learn how to do a program review. It is emphasized that program decisions should be data-driven and include the voices of stakeholders. When the ACI committee changed in January of 2025, a request was made to understand how the decision for the current middle school math program, put in place and approved 2 years ago, was made. At a recent ACI meeting, I reviewed the past ACI presentation that explained the changes that were recommended in 2022 by our math supervisors, our math teachers, and me, based on data that included information on courses offered by comparable districts, alignment to the New Jersey core curriculum, and most importantly, student achievement data. I find it difficult to hear repeated requests for transparent, respectful dialogue, implying that information has not been shared and presented each time it has been asked for. It seems that the data and the recommendations of experienced curriculum experts do not support the recent requests of a small handful of individuals. Public statements are being made to imply that thoughtful due diligence did not occur. It was stated that for the past 2 years, there has been constant feedback from parents, teachers, students, and higher ed experts, and that their concerns are being ignored. The importance of meeting diverse learning needs in the classroom so that students do not become disengaged, leading to behavior problems, was cautioned by this board. I am here to clarify that our teachers are not overwhelmed by parents' concerns regarding inadequate academic programming. In fact, these phone calls are extremely rare. When the concerns are raised, the educational professionals, the teachers, the certified content area supervisors, and when necessary, me, work together to ensure that a student's needs are met. There is not one way to ensure student engagement, nor does the title of a course dictate student engagement. Teachers, supervisors, building administration, and I are your educational professionals. We are certified and experienced experts who work for children and families. Our consistent high achievement by every metric speaks to our success. Since 2013, I have had a history of experiencing respectful two-way dialogue with all members of our community, but that is not what I'm experiencing at this time. I am very concerned that some of the statements being made at BOE meetings are causing confusion and harm. So lastly, I will reiterate that a freshman can start high school in Algebra 2 and take Calculus BC as a junior without any summer classes, and clarify that all of our math... Nope, that's it, thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Any other comments from the public? Hearing none, public comment session is now closed. Superintendent McLaughlin, anything you would like to address? No question? Gotcha. Okay, thank you. At this time, any closing announcements from the Board of Ed members?
Yes. So today I want to make a speech on accountability through data. Why we must demand more than anecdotes. So good evening, board members and community stakeholders. Tonight, I want to return to a theme that cut across nearly every issue we've debated this year, from middle school math to high school science to budget finance topics. That is accountability through data. We cannot talk meaningfully about student growth, curriculum quality, or educational equity if we don't first agree that decisions must be informed by data, not driven by assumptions, convenience, or tradition. First point, I want to talk about the need for systematic and transparent data. Take the enrollment and retention, for example. At the June ACI meeting, we were given the total enrollment numbers, but critical questions such as student retention year over the year, especially during transitions from middle school to high school, were left unanswered. So I've been asking this since February. This matters. As shown in the data presented in the K-12 Insight, enrollment and retention directly affects funding and staffing. For every 4 student lost, a district may lose the equivalent of 1 full teacher salary. That is not a theoretical impact. It's a direct consequence with real implications for class sizes, course offerings, and student services. When we ask for enrollment trends, we're not doing so out of curiosity. We're asking because enrollment and retention is a foundational variable in both financial planning and instructional equity. We hear that our students doing well, we see references to the top 10 national growth percentile, we hear general claims that students are strong in math, but without disaggregated results across all the percentile bands, without grade level breakdowns, demographic analysis, or longitudinal comparisons, we can't honestly evaluate the impact of our curriculum decisions. It's like trying to judge a school play after only watching the dress rehearsal of the lead actor. Sure, it may look good from one angle, but we're missing the whole ensemble, the technical crew, the timing, the pacing, the full performance. We can't make decisions based on selective snapshots. And we certainly can't assume that programs are effective just because no one has proven otherwise. This is not accountability. That's complacency. And more importantly, we can't improve what we don't measure. Second, I want to talk about data is not optional. It's foundational to accountability. In recent weeks, we've heard concerns the request for data might be burdensome to the administration. But let's be clear, the burden isn't in asking for data. The real burden is making decisions without it. Our job as a board is not to prove ideas based on belief. It's to make decisions grounded in evidence that serve all students. Also ensure that taxpayers' dollars are being spent wisely and that every student, regardless of background, has access to learning opportunities they need to thrive. This is why we need clear answers to questions like, are curriculum changes leading to measurable improvement? Are enrollment and retention patterns pointing to deeper equity or access issues? Are students progressing academically through the spectrum, not just the top 10%? These are not rhetorical questions. These are the kind of questions that high-performing school boards are asking across the country. The Center for Public Education reminds us the most effective boards make data a priority and regularly review performance metrics to guide policy and evaluate impact. Let me say it again. Effective boards make data a priority. So when we are told we believe the current curriculum is fine, or we've heard no major complaints, that's not enough. Belief isn't evidence. Lack of complaint isn't proof. We need measurable outcome and a shared framework for evaluating whether these outcomes are meeting the district goals. We can't answer this unless we're committed to disaggregated actionable data. Third point I want to talk about, why test score validity matters. Let me now explain what it means to use test score responsibly, especially since the assessments are often used to justify program changes. When we use a test score to make a decision about placement, about success, about course offerings, we're making a claim based on that number. Testing expert Professor Michael Kane explained that validity is not just about whether a test is reliable or well constructed. It's about whether the way we're using the score is appropriate, fair, and supported by evidence. For example, if we use a math score to decide whether students should take Algebra 1 or 2, we must ask, does that score actually reflect readiness for more advanced math? Is there evidence that students placed this way succeed later on? Are we monitoring how well this decision worked and adjusted if it didn't? If the answer is no, then we're not using the score validity, even if the test itself is sound. Later, Samuel Masick, another pioneer in testing theory, added a critical dimension. He said that the validity of a test score depends not only on how it interpreted, but on the consequences of that interpretation. So if a test score is used to remove a math pathway, and as a result, students lose access to college prep coursework, that outcome must be part of the validity conversation. In short, a test use is only valid if the consequences of that use are justified. Fourth point, I want to talk about the broader impact, equity, opportunity, and transparency. So let's step back. Why does this matter so much? Because this is not just about math. It's about whether this district is equipped to evaluate the impact of its own decisions. It's about whether we're transparent with our community. Not just about what we've done, but about why we've done it and how we know it's working. It's about equity. And this is where I want to be very clear. Removing learning opportunities is not how we close the achievement gap. Limiting access does not lift struggling students. It holds everyone back. The goal should not be to cap the growth of students who are ready to move ahead in reading, writing, math, or science. The goal should be blow the boats higher, to raise the floor without lowering the ceiling. The right approach to equity is to reach the students where they are. Every student, whether they are catching up or moving ahead, deserves a curriculum that challenges them, respects their potentials, and prepares them for what lies ahead. Removing advanced coursework in the name of equity is misguided. True equity means giving every student access to what they need to grow, not limiting some to make outcomes appear more equal. Last, I want to call for action. So here's what I'm asking for tonight. A clear plan for how school district will evaluate outcome of curriculum changes, including access to advanced math and science pathways, disaggregate reporting on student growth across local percentile, not just the top 10%. As a board, we care about the whole spectrum of the student growth. A commitment to data transparency with the public, including publishing summary findings, program evaluations, and progress reports in a format families can understand. And above all, shifting the mindset from defensiveness about data requests to a culture of continuous improvement, grounded in evidence. So because the goal here isn't blame, it's better. We want better learning opportunities. We want a better preparation for college and careers. We want a better use of our resources. We want a better alignment between what we promise as a school district and what we actually deliver. Let's start with the best district already do. Let's lead with evidence. So let's build a data-informed culture that students, teachers, families, and future employers can trust. So that's all my speech. I don't know whether my board colleagues have comments on my thought, data-driven approach. Agree or disagree, I welcome comments.
Any comments?
So I do agree that we need to look at the data, and through data, we can better understand whether or not we are really meeting the expectations of this community. The district elected the board members to be their voice, and the school district is the community school. So while the administrators need to make sure that we are following the standards of the New Jersey Department of Education, that we're following all the laws and the curriculums up to the New Jersey standards, we also cannot ignore what the community expects from us. So I'm troubled to see how many parents write to us. They wrote several petitions with so many signatures asking for the return of the accelerated math program. And what I'm trying to understand is why we are not listening to those parents and why we are so strongly opposing to restore that path. And I took time to actually fully understand the difference between the regular math program, the accelerated math program, and the double accelerated math program. So I created the chart, which I shared with my fellow board members, and it shows different tracks that students can follow, and the path that brought us the most recognition and success, and the incredible students that were presenting to us were following that double accelerated math program, and that program allowed them to achieve such incredible accomplishments. Now that path is shutting down. So parents who have multiple children in the district, they can firsthand observe the difference. Because when they have a student in LMS right now, and they have a student, and they used to have a student in LMS 2 or 3 years ago, their older child was able to take pre-algebra in LMS, but that path is no longer available. They actually need to wait to take that class in 7th grade. So what that does is it's basically pushing those students forward, because now they are not meeting those prerequisites to be able to follow that double accelerated math program. So when they get to high school, the students under the double accelerated math program, they were able to start high school with pre-calculus. Now, when that path, that cohort is done, I think next year, that will be the last class that will be able to follow that path. After that, the students will not be able to enter high school and take pre-calculus. So now when we compare our district with, let's say, West Windsor, West Windsor offers Algebra 2 to students in 8th grade, and our district right now, that's still a possibility, but in a year or two, that will no longer be a possibility. What does that do to our students?
They do Algebra 1, then Algebra 2, then Geometry. I've said it before. So their 8th graders do not take geometry until 9th grade.
Our school does Algebra 1.
Our school does Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2. They do Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry. So it's the same exact path that our children have.
Well,
exact.
On that chart that I created, and I shared it with you as well, it shows that...
Did you share this with all of us?
I shared it with all of you.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Well, can I ask a question, just to clarify?
Maybe you just didn't open the attachment.
Well, I just looked, did you get it? I asked the ACI person, do you have this spreadsheet?
Yes.
So I do want to bring up a point of order, and I appreciate everyone's passion on this, but we've talked about this. There was a vote, and it did not pass. That's a point of order. We've talked about this ad nauseum. There was a vote on restoring it, it did not pass.
I'm trying to understand exactly what the opposition is from the administration side, because we are depriving our students of opportunity to apply to better colleges by not completing certain math classes.
No student is being deprived of anything. The administration has talked about that endlessly. There's no student being denied anything.
And I want to add to, when you said petition and emails from families, out of about, 4,700 families in the district, maybe we've gotten, 10, 20, if that, emails? I mean, it's a very...
Orchard Hill parents, a lot of them.
And I know that, like Fiona shared as well earlier, the small population, there's no limit to what we're allowing for our students. So there's not a ceiling. So as far as that, those students that need the challenges, we're providing opportunities for that small population.
There is no data shows there's no ceiling. I clarified in my last month's board meeting.
Please don't speak to me like that. We're having a conversation, okay?
Oh yeah, I'm just responding to
I
your
know, but
question.
it's becoming a pattern. Please don't speak to me like that. Thank you.
But as I said, point of order, this has been voted on, it did not pass.
Yeah, we can still have a discussion, right? This is the floor for discussion.
No.
Okay.
Not on this item.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm not a question. I have a motion. I would like to move that disaggregated student growth data report presentation in English Language Arts, ELA, Mathematics and Science for grades 3 to 11 by local percentile bands, for example, 10th, 25th, 50th, 75th.
Point of order, that has to be discussed and decided in ACI.
No, that's not about ACI. And 19th,
This is about ACI.
well, I can make a motion.
Again, that has to go to ACI.
No, I don't have to go to the ACI.
Yes, you do.
If a board member will second my thing.
It has to be discussed in ACI. That is the proper procedure.
It's discussed. They refuse to provide the data.
Again, it has to go through ACI.
So I want to know, board member on behalf of the public ask for assessment data, which should be part of the transparency of what the school board do, oversee this. And the school refused to provide that data. We as a board, what we should do? Just let it be? Let the school run the school by be? Why we should have a board here?
So what data got refused?
Disaggregated student growth data.
Student growth data.
They say that's internal data. They don't
ELA,
provide.
Science, math, 3rd grade through 11th grade, broken down by percentile, top 10, top 75,
That's
top
what I'm
50,
saying
top
here.
25.
Is that the public
25.
records request?
Yes, it's an Oprah request that's.
Right, so public records request, just for the record, is for records,
Those
not
are
data. That's why it was denied. Curriculum items don't just get walked up on the agenda, they get discussed at the curriculum committee. We can't do that.
It did not.
Can I just ask a question? I'm not quite sure where the doubt is coming from in terms of why are we not trusting the professionals that we have hired at our schools?
It's not about trust.
to-
It's about
Okay.
it's about transparency. It's about
Right.
the data.
So
show the community how the great job was done, as I did in my speech. We want better learning opportunities. We want better preparation for college and careers. We want better use of resources.
Better
It's
than-
about-
better than
it's-
what? We have
it's
the
about
number
the
4
change
state-
of the mindset.
But where
People
is
are
the data?
rejecting to showing the data. Data is the fact.
Where is the data showing that our students are not excelling? Where is that
Where
data?
the data showing it's excelling. We heard about concerns for the community. Is that not enough? It's
Some
a
members of the
group
community, you're speaking as if the entire Montgomery community.
Not the
Is it ours?
So you're talking. So this is why we ask for retention question too. It sounds like people don't care about student dropout from a school district. We should show we care about every student.
We don't have a dropout.
Yeah, we care about that.
Retention is about student
Yeah.
disenroll about that. Disenroll equal to dropout.
No, it does
No,
not.
no,
Okay,
no.
Those
then
are
we
not.
use the word
those are
disenroll.
not.
We use the
Disenrolled
word
is not.
disenroll. We use the word disenroll. That's about the retention data.
So Board Member Wayne, I suggest that your request go through ACI.
It did not move forward, as I mentioned. So what's the next step should be? I would like to have advice on this.
You and I will have a discussion. I will let you know your proper course.
And we talked about this many times. Patrick, is there anything?
You and I have not talked about this. You and I will talk about this. And I will advise you on the proper course.
I have a follow-up question. We had a curriculum specialist talk to us about doing analytics around other school districts. Mary, could we see that? Could we see that view of what other school districts, surrounding districts are doing when it comes to math curriculum? I often hear in these discussions that other school districts follow a different pattern or different curriculum structure. Maybe if we look at if any changes have been made to some of the other, like Hopewell or Hillsborough or West Windsor, we can then compare and see what the difference is. Maybe that'll help us clarify.
I'm sorry, to be clear, you mean the path in terms of when they take what math course?
Correct.
Okay. And those are districts that we are outperforming, yes? Hopewell, we're outperforming. I mean, I don't want to put people under the bus, but we are overperforming in terms of all of the districts.
I-
that are clear?
I think that we just want to see the paths,
Okay.
right? Not necessarily student performance, right? But just paths that other school districts
Have we
are
done-
taking, have taken.
I would imagine that in the website. Yeah.
Say it again?
It's right on the website.
It's on the district's website.
Yeah.
So I'm sure.
There's no visual path provided, or our school district provide that.
So
Okay,
you'll be able
can
to
we
see
have
it.
another discussion on that, parents who came?
Can I just say one thing? I do want to make clear that when the math discussion was presented, it was based on data of our students who were getting to a place where they did not have enough of the foundational mathematics at the middle school level to be able to move forward. So that was a big discussion and a big understanding of why they charted the math program the way that they charted it. So it was based on data, based on
I would
how
interpret
our
that
students-
as a philosophy or a theoretical framework, not data, because I haven't seen any performance data is aggregated by student percentage, local percentile. I have not seen that.
And I did hear the curriculum specialist say that, you know, that other school districts' analytics was taken into play. So I think maybe it's a natural step for us to take a look at it and just compare.
That's exactly what I was thinking too when we just heard that when we changed this math program 2 years ago, whenever it happened, so there was some reasoning behind it. So there was the reasoning behind would have supported by some kind of a data or some kind of a community survey or some kind of a, if that is provided, would that be?
Yeah, that should be shared, right?
Right.
So far, I have not seen
That's
any
exact-
single
that could
of
be
that.
provided.
The presentation was shared with you.
That
Not just
presentation does
discussion.
not
I think
contain any single number.
A data-driven person like board member Ting is not, I don't think, interested in discussions and just what we thought is good. It's just, what was the data behind this change? I think if that is provided, maybe then there will be some questions will be
The
answered.
problem, it was provided, certain board members do not accept it. That's the problem.
The problem
There
is
have
not,
been
the
multiple-
number is
multiple
number.
presentations.
None of this,
First of all, you will not speak over me. There have been multiple presentations, data shared, certain board members will not accept it. That is the issue. That's the issue, plain and simple.
okay, it's my turn to talk. There is no data being shared. Data is the numbers. Data are the facts. Data not philosophical presentation, but just by text. That comes from the word of mouth who work on data day by day. It's not about the data person, board member executive. If the higher education faculty also do not accept that either. You can disagree with higher education faculty's opinions too, of course.
Thank you. Any other items? At this time, I entertain a motion for adjournment.
I have another question.
We're not done, Patrick.
Item, we had a parent who came and made a request for us to discuss the situation with his son. So I do want to hear the reasoning for the denial of his request, because based on what I read, his son qualifies to participate in our sport. So if he's being denied, I would like to understand why.
So I forwarded the last email to the board attorney and they will respond.
So we need attorney to weigh in?
Well, we already had the athletic director respond, the director respond, I responded, and the question keeps coming, so now it's going to the board attorney who advised us through all of our responses originally.
Yeah, but like your response, when I received your response, it seems like you did not have all information, like relevant information at hand. Because you said that, like he will not be able to participate because he does not meet the qualifications.
In point of order, we should actually not be talking about a student in a board meeting. So as the superintendent,
It was already discussed.
correct, but the board should not be discussing it. So as the superintendent said, that information has been forwarded to our board attorney for review.
Well, okay, so like in general terms, I guess, when you responded to us, it was as if like you did not have all relevant information at hand, which later on the parent presented, and it was in alignment with what your concerns was. So now I think it seems like he's meeting all the qualifications. So I'm just wondering why.
Again, the board attorney, because you were not going to talk about a student, so the board attorney will respond.
Well, but it's a board decision, right?
Right, but this isn't a matter that we should have for public discussion. Everybody can talk to us about whatever they want, but I'm going to protect you as the board secretary. We don't talk about students in public discussion.
So should we talk about it at executive meeting?
I'm not going to.
There should be a venue to talk about this, right?
We're not going to talk about this.
Correct, and the board attorney will respond.
Okay, so just for reference for the public, there's two policies that are at question. I think policy 2431 and then policy 2460 for reference. I think, for a policy, as a policy committee member, one thing that I find interesting, and maybe this would be something for us to consider, the policy 2431 prevents homeschool kids from participating in school sports. And, I was wondering how the board feels about that. I mean, once again, I don't have the data to understand how many homeschool kids we have in town. But I would think as Montgomery School District, we would want to represent homeschool kids as well. So perhaps that will be something that I would like to discuss in the next policy committee to see if there's a potential for us to make some exceptions to this. So my question to Mary is, I don't know if you have that data point, but do we understand within the Montgomery School District how many kids are homeschooled today? Is that something that's available to us?
Only those that would have been in the school district and left and used that coding. But if somebody was always homeschooled, we would never know that.
Okay.
Just like if somebody always went to a private school, we would not know who they are.
So if you could just at least give us that one number so we have an understanding of what that number is, that would help us in the conversation.
And yeah, sorry. Where do they have to get their curriculum approved from? Isn't it that they would have to, if not in district of it?
Right, they have to follow the NJSIAA rules. They have to prove residency. They have to be added to our insurance policy, things like that. It's a huge expense.
No, I'm saying.
No, the curriculum for the, I think she means the curriculum
Yeah,
for the
curriculum for homeschool. Isn't that something that would need to be approved? So there would be record of, because you, as a parent, if you were homeschooling, you would have to go and get the curriculum that you're choosing to teach your child approved.
Correct. We would have to look into all that. We haven't done that ever because we don't accept homeschool children for sports.
Yeah, it's actually, Maria, it's available. There's actual organizations where kids can go and meet up for more complex studies, but it's all
Those are
correlated.
different though. Those are like, right, aren't they like pods? Yeah,
No, it's actually, it's available in the New
community-based
Jersey.
schools.
Yeah, it's a whole program that actually is available
Online.
and it follows all of the guidelines.
It used to be that you had to actually go and get that approved from your state in order to get a state diploma. But now with the way that
Those programs have grown significantly, so now.
considering the internet and virtual everything, absolutely.
Yes.
I have a question for the policy that you brought up. Actually, I read that policy. It looks like it did not specify for the group, the students who lives in this township, but they are out of school district, that we forbidden them from participating in the sports. And usually under that, it's like when we go insurance too, they kind of benefit favoring that group, and they allow them to participate in the sports. So if we just follow that by this policy, it sounds like this group of students who out of school district but live in this township, they still can participate in the school sports. That's my understanding.
Yeah, that is not the way this policy is being presented. So that's why I want to bring it up for discussion, right? What does that really mean, and do we have any flexibility, right? If we have a very small number, because I know this is not the first time that we've had parents ask that maybe, would like their kids to participate. So, and then the second policy I think for review is 2460, which we'll also discuss, and that will be around special education. And, are there any different rules for kids with special needs that could potentially participate? So I'll take both of those policies and I'll review them in the next policy meeting.
Thank you. That's great.
All right, anything else? At this this time I entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and second. Any questions? All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same right.